Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of It Doesn't Have to Be Perfect. And today we're talking about doing the hard things. I had an episode a while back where I talked about if it's something you love, shouldn't it be easy? I think that was literally the title of it. And that's where I really started to question, like, if it's something you adore so much and you want to do so bad, like why shouldn't it be easy? Right? And I think to answer my own question, you have to get through the initial scariness of something new and getting into something you love and pushing into that uncomfortableness and doing the hard things when it comes to it. And the reason I bring this up is because I was actually scrolling on TikTok, as one does late at night, and there was this girl who was just like at a park, headphones in, and she was just talking about how you should see things as easy. You should see things that are seen as difficult, but you should see them as easy because there's so many people that their lives just like flow with like allowing things to come to them, right? And she just went on a whole little tangent.
Convince yourself that life is easy and you will start to change everything about your life. Everything. I'm not even kidding. Like, if there is one thing that you should do in this life, it's just let it be easy for you. For some reason, us as human beings, like, we like to overcomplicate everything. But also we have this conditioning that we think everything in our lives has to be hard. If it's not hard, it's not worth it. Like, you have to work really hard. Relationships are hard. Finding your soulmate is hard. Being happy, that's difficult too. Success is hard. Money is difficult to find. Friends are hard to find. It's hard to lose weight. It's hard to be healthy. Just start saying, oh no, it's easy. It's easy. You ever watch those people that just flow with life and like everything just happens like with ease? Like people like that just don't worry about anything and just walk in the light, and you're like, how the fuck does everything just work out for this person? It's because they just don't overcomplicate life. And I fully believe that they have the confidence that everything is just gonna work out for them. Solutions come easily, that life is easy. They're gonna get what they want in the end. I always had the mindset that like, okay, I can have everything that I want, but it's gonna be a struggle to get there. It's gonna be hard. I can have these goals, but I am going to lose myself trying to get there. What kind of fucking mindset is that? Like, how is that even enjoyable? Like, why are we conditioned like this as human beings? I just don't understand. Saying to myself that life is easy and that everything is easy and it comes to me easily, everything comes to me easily that I want, it is literally the key. Everything that you want can flow to your life with ease if you just let it.
And listen, I really appreciated it because as someone with anxieties, I mean, everyone has their own anxieties for different reasons, right? I can get stuck in that mindset too sometimes of, you know, I just really want to do this thing, but it's so hard. Like, why is it hard? Like, why don't I have the motivation to do so? It really just comes down to your mindset. And I'm going to give an example here. When she was talking about how you should view things as easy, I don't actually think that's useful because she was talking about having a fixed mindset. If you don't know what that is, and this is the example I was talking about, say you're, I don't know, like a 6th grade math teacher, and you have 2 groups of kids. The first group is the fixed mindset kids, and you give them like a set of equations to do, right? And once they turn them in, you're going to say, oh, you're so smart. Good job. Thank you. And then the same thing with the other kids. You're going to give them the growth mindset kids. You're going to give them some work to do. And then once they turn it in, you're going to say, wow, thank you so much for putting so much effort and hard work into this. I really appreciate it. You can go back to your seat. Once you complete that and you give them a new task to do, both groups, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, these problems are a little harder than the last ones, maybe new to them. Which group do you think is going to do better? The growth mindset. I felt like Dora right there. Like, do you know where the map is? No, but yeah, like that's what labels are so tricky because that's literally what you start to identify with. Say you call someone a slut or a whore in school or whatever, and they're going to, if they hear it enough, they're going to start to think of themselves that way. That happens as well with like when you call a kid smart, but then when they're faced with a challenge because they believe they're smart, but they're not able to do this problem, they get frustrated and they're like, I don't understand why I can't do it. I'm smart. Like, I've been told all my life that I'm smart. Why can't I do this? It's because they were not given the right tools. And instead of praising their effort and their struggle and their perseverance, they're applauded for just being smart. What does that even mean? Just like having a set of tools already in your head that should come easy to you. And that's my problem with the argument that she was making about how you should view things as easy. Because if we're being honest, if I walked around like that, and I have walked around with that mentality before, because, you know, you're always trying to, in your 20s, you're always like trying to find new coping mechanisms of like what works for you, what doesn't. I played around with that idea for a while, and I found that it didn't really help because I was stuck in that smart kid mindset where it was like, well, why is this difficult? This should be easy. Why am I having a hard time? Like, I'm supposed to view things as easy. Like, that's where it fails to work in real life. I think that's the best way that we can start thinking about how are we going to move forward with doing the hard things, because no one wants to do the hard things. I don't want to do the hard things. I want to lay in bed. I want to bed rot, you know, after having like a long day, working 2 jobs, like I just want to bed rot, you know, but you have to make yourself some dinner and you have to shower. And like, these are very mundane tasks, right? Like, but when you're in it and your anxieties take over, it can seem like the most daunting task in the world, but you should do the hard things. And instead of praising yourself for, say, being smart, you should praise yourself for putting in effort, putting in the work, being resilient, being adaptable. That's something that I do have on my 2024 vision board. I put a lot of those words on there so that I'm always reminded that instead of being something that's fixed, I want to be something that's always like changing and adapting, and I'm resilient, and I put effort into my work, because that's the only way that you can really get through them and through any struggle. Like, unfortunately, that's how humans grow, okay? We have to struggle a little bit, and we have to do the things that make us uncomfortable in order to grow. Because, okay, if you're like sitting at home all day in your comfort, how are you going to grow that way? No, unless you pick up that guitar that you've been putting off and start doing like some lessons on YouTube or something, or like maybe a Zoom call with an instructor. Like, that's something that you can do that's a little uncomfortable, but you're doing it from your home. So that's like a first step, right? I recently went to a dance class, and it was just this room that instructors like rent out. They'll usually like have their own like little vibe of like different categories of like music and dancing. And I just went in kind of blindly because I really wanted to just, first of all, get a feel of the studio, because I know there's a lot of cool instructors that work from there, but also just kind of like throw myself into something. And I ended up in a class that was like a Brazilian dance class, and it was just like teaching the basics of stuff. And it's one of those things that when you see other people doing it, you're like, oh, light work, I could do that easily. But then you're actually doing it and you're like, oh, okay, my hips, I need to focus on my hips. Oh, wait, my steps are wrong. Wait, what? And it just like humbled me, because even though I took dance like 9-10 years ago, okay, I started when I was in high school. I don't know why I really thought this was going to be a piece of cake. And that was just like it was a class for like intro to like being comfortable in your body and like doing like the basics, right? And I was just like so in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really thought I was all that, but I'm not, because it's been like almost a decade, Janine. Yeah, you're going to be a little rusty, and that's okay. I mean, you're starting again, so that's good. And that really made me uncomfortable, because they put us in pairs with like other people, and I did not know anyone in that class. And I was just so like, it was like a whole range of ages too. And it was like so new and like weird to me. I don't know. Yeah. Like I was super happy that I went to that class after words, because I was like, okay, I did that. Like, I got out of my comfort zone. I went into a new area. I went into a new studio with a new instructor. I did things with my body in front of people that I don't know. And I'm really proud of myself. And same with, I actually got second job, and it's proving to be not like difficult per se, but like they're really trying to figure out like the opening of the store and stuff, and they're not really nailing it. Like, they're really just all over the place. That makes me uncomfortable. That makes me like think, maybe did I do the right thing by taking this job? But listen, at the end of the day, your girl needs money, okay? And I can't do the whole, I'm gonna sit here on my ass and like manifest it. Like, no, you need to go out there and like work for your shit, you know? I definitely went through that phase as well, where I was like, it's just gonna come to me. It's just gonna come to me if I like really visualize it enough. Like, no, you really have to put in the hard work. You can't just like sit around and expect things to happen. But how entitled do you have to be? Like, Janine, what were you doing? And like, I had good intentions. Obviously, it's again like a coping mechanism, a tool that I was playing around with that just didn't work out for me. And I'm very much a hands-on person. So if I want something, I'm gonna have to go out there and physically go get it. You know, like I'm really just in this new era again. Like, I've entered in and out of eras, and it's even so annoying to say eras, because it's just like phases in life. This is what happens in life. You go through phases. Sometimes you're really doing a lot. Sometimes you're not doing too much, and that's okay, you know? But yeah, I'm entering this like new phase in my life where I'm just really open to just trying so many things and like actually going out into the world and doing those things, instead of like dreaming about it or like planning on it. Instead of just like sitting around and planning, I'm just doing. And I think this little spurts of motivation really just came from my recent camping trip. I had such a good time, and I did so many activities that I hadn't done ever, or like I hadn't done in a very long time. For example, I rode a motorcycle, like those like not motorcycle per se. Well, yes, it is. It's like the ones that you rent out for like ATVs type of vibe, you know? It's like going in the dunes and like all that stuff, going like riding in the hills. We rented some, and I was really uncomfortable because it's so scary, especially when you're in the back. I hate being in the back. I hate being in the back and someone else is driving, because it feels like you're gonna fall off. Even though I knew I wasn't gonna fall off, it like felt like it, you know. That was really fun, and I really got my heart pumping. And then another thing I did was go on a diving board into the pool. And like, okay, I had never done that before, and it sounds silly, it sounds very mundane, but like, I'm like, what if that thing breaks? Like, that looks scary. I don't think I want to do that. And all my cousins were doing it, and I was like, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. So I did that, and that was really fun. It really, again, got my heart pumping, and I was like, oh my god, that was fun. It wasn't that scary. I didn't break my neck like I thought I was gonna do, you know. What else did I do? Oh, I rode a horse. I didn't like do anything crazy, you know, but it was just like going up a hill and like down a hill, and all my cousins and my best friend came with me, and it was such a good time. I hadn't done that since I was like a little kid, so it was very refreshing to do something different and like do something with animals. I don't know. What else did I do that was kind of scary? Oh, well, this is like scary but not scary. I went on the zip line at the campsite, and that was also really fun, because as a kid, I really, in my head, that whole thing like lasted like 2 hours. We went on the zip line this time, and the whole course took like an hour, and I was like, wait, did I like imagine this? But like, when you're a kid, like everything seems so big and new, and like you know, it just consumes all of your like head. And I was just really, I don't know, it was just like so like mind blowing. Like it was like easier than I remembered it. And that's just, you know, life, growing up, moving on to cool new things to do, you know. I feel like I've experienced a lot more now, and it's one of those things that not getting old, because like ziplining is always fun, but like I'm ready for like the new challenge, the new scary thing, because I used to be very scary when I was a kid. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. I know I babbled on a lot, and maybe I repeated myself a few times, but I just really feel strongly about this because doing the hard things, no one wants to do them. And we try to find the easiest, the laziest way to do it. But sometimes there's just no going around it. You just have to do that thing. And then once you do it, you figure out that like it wasn't even that hard to begin with, like truly. And even after doing that scary thing over and over again, you're going to find that it was like never scary in the first place. It was just that initial push through that was scary. But once you're on the other side of that, it's like, yo, I can do anything. Well, you know, don't jump off a building and like you're not going to fly. But you know what I mean? Like you can really just like push through anything once you do one difficult thing. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm ready for more. I'm ready for another challenge, you know? But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And make sure you rate this podcast and make sure to follow me on Instagram and on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, you should be subscribed. But yeah, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.